Welcome to the post-game show, Colorful Kit. After Mexico's 1-0 win versus Turkey, today we're joined by Diego Segura. Diego, how's it going, man?
I'm doing good, bro. How about you? Thanks for inviting me, by the way. Appreciate it.
Let's just get into it. Before the game started, when you saw the lineup, what did you think? Any bad thoughts running through your mind?
I had some like second thoughts about Montes, especially with his performance against Switzerland. I don't know how to feel about that. And then Pineda as well. I was kind of doubting him, but he shut me up today. I'm not gonna lie with that goal that he scored. And I was also a little bit doubtful with Gallardo starting as well.
Yeah, I think the same thing. When I saw Gallardo, I give him a lot of shit, but like he did well in the Nations League, so I
Yeah,
wasn't too shocked by it. Montes, I was just glad he was healthy. I mean, he kind of came out of the game and even took a hard knock to the head again tonight.
of course, yeah, dude. Head of
And I showed
steel.
the replay, I was like, "Damn," and he got right up like he was fine.
Exactly, bro. That's just
When you
insane.
watch the replay, it's like it's because he hit the guy with the front of his head,
Yeah, he hit
and
him
like
like in the temple or
yeah,
something.
yeah, so he was good, but, like, you never know with concussions and shit, so
Yeah.
and, Johan's up maybe to start on Saturday, so he's probably not gonna play till the second game. I mean, we got Dominican Republic, so good to see him.
Yeah,
I was just happy, praying to Cuauhtemoc Blanco, the gods, that Marcel Ruiz was starting.
and he did, bro,
I
thankfully.
was yeah. And I was a little surprised that Buvida got a start.
Me
I
too.
was a little surprised. I mean, probably that goal helped, but other than that, it's kind of what I expected.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Any thoughts on the goalkeeper?
Malagon, he did scare me a couple of times because there was a couple of shots that were that he just couldn't get to them just because of his height. I feel like that's a very limiting, factor for him.
Yeah, he doesn't get good when he has to come out or make a decision to come out.
Yeah, come
He
out.
struggles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought they were honestly gonna score on him, but, they don't have to do too much, but still scared me a bit with those shots on target from, Turkey.
yeah. Lineup. The subs kind of made sense. We talked a little bit before the show. Kind of, we were both hoping that we get some. We get a Hidreta Mora a little cameo or something, but
Yeah, nothing, bro.
it was. I will say this: a lot of the games lose their muster when you bring in like 4 or 5 subs around the 60th minute. But this game, it kinda kept that intensity up.
It did, yeah.
A little
I agree.
scuffle here or there. I liked it.
Yeah, especially, Chino when he got on, dude, like, all gas, no brakes, dude. This dude
The
was just
the the
running.
definition of all gas, no brakes. That thing was it was awesome for the first 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes after that, he looked gassed.
Yeah, we were talking about earlier that shot that he could have taken, that he should have
Yeah,
taken outside the
yeah.
box.
Not
He,
even
like
that, just make a decision. He didn't make a
exactly,
decision.
could have
Yeah.
passed, could have done something, waited too long, defense got to him.
And he wasn't the only one. I think Raul had a similar one, and so did Santi. Like, they're just
Yeah,
I mean, in between 2 minds and didn't make a decision either way. Yeah, it was a the lineup was good. I thought the game was it was a good game, intense the whole way through, a lot of fight. It didn't feel like a friendly. It felt like a World Cup, not a World Cup game, but like a game in like a tournament, like first in the group stage where you don't want to give anything. You rather get the point than the loss. Like Turkey was busting their ass.
they were, and there was a couple of, like, near fights as well. Did you see that? The referee had to pull out a yellow card.
Yeah, it got intense. Like
Yeah,
shout out to the Ene for missing both of them. I don't know. They were showing replays of something and they missed both scuffles, but it is what it is, but, yeah, it was an intense game. It was a fun game. Like, it
yeah,
was like, I think the Switzerland game could have been like this if it wasn't in the middle of the day, hot as shit. I mean, this game, it was a good game, back and forth. Each team kinda had their moments. I mean, Mexico struggled the first 25, 30 minutes of the first half, and then they kinda dominated the end of that first half, and then kinda the same thing in the second half, kinda back and forth. So I thought it was a pretty for a friendly, it was as good as it can get.
yeah. I mean, I was just happy that they won because it was my birthday, so just that's all I wanted, just for them to win.
And they won. It was
Yeah.
I didn't think they were gonna win. I thought it was gonna be like a 2-1 loss or something, but
Yeah, not gonna lie, same here.
it's happy to go into the Gold Cup with the win, and like I said, the first couple games of the Gold Cup, we were playing Dominican Republic, we were playing Suriname, whatever, but this is probably the best game they're gonna have until Costa Rica or maybe even the quarterfinals, so,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
We needed to go into that with the high.
Speaking of high, what are your top 2 players of the match?
Top 2 players, probably Quiñones. Liked his little he was a bit creative during the match. It didn't work out, but, I like to see it the way that he moved and stuff. I feel like we lacked a lot of creativity, so I was glad that he wasn't afraid to, do skill moves and stuff like that.
He technically got an assist on that goal. They
Yeah,
gave him an
technically.
assist. They stole it from Marcel Ruiz, I think. He touched it and then yeah.
And, my second player, crap. Surprisingly, I think I'm gonna have to say, Pineda, not gonna lie. He was making some good runs, but didn't back down, and then, like I said, he proved me wrong with that goal. You could call it luckier, but still a goal, and,
Goal's a goal, man. He
yeah,
was there. I mean, technically he scored another goal earlier, right?
yeah, but it was offside.
So yeah, those 2 good shots right there. Only guy I would kind of add, and just because it was kind of a bounce back game, Cesar Montes.
Yeah, he had
I
some amazing crosses.
especially in the first half, he kind of stood up the Turkish attacking players, like, he didn't give up, and I get a little shaky when he's outside the box because he kinda had to chase people down, but he did his job, and, he needed a bounce back game because he struggled. I mean, the whole back line plus the keeper struggled against Switzerland, but we need him to do well. I mean, he's the only guy on our team that's, like, what, taller than 6'2"?
Yeah,
So, he's gonna play. He's
yeah.
not gonna play, so it was good to see him bounce back, have a good game. I don't know who else out of those, like, those 3 kind of like the guys I mean, other players played good in moments, like Marcelo Ruiz, let's throw him on there, fine. He did good, he did exactly what we wanted him to do. When Mexico was struggling in the first half, I don't know if you noticed, but they did the same thing they did against Switzerland where they just kind of bypassed the midfield.
Yeah,
They went center back, fullback, outside winger. They did that, and then but once they started incorporating the middle, getting it to Edson and Ruiz, I feel like they kind of opened up the last 15 minutes of the first half and the second half as well.
yeah. There was so many plays. I was expecting a second goal, but didn't get one.
We should have got a second goal. There was plenty of chances for them
Yeah.
to get a second goal. Kinda have to go against that. Bottom 2 players, I don't really have anyone. My only bottom was the security staff.
Yeah, I
That
see that.
shit was trash,
I don't
and
know what
I've
they
been to Messi in Chicago games, and that was fine, but this Jesus Christ, man. There was, like, little kids running out it was bad, man. It was bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. There wasn't really just overall everybody did their jobs basically. There wasn't a player that's like didn't do like horrible. So
Yeah, I mean, you talked a little bit about Malagon. He did his
yeah,
job. He
he
didn't
did his
make any
job.
mistakes. He wasn't called upon too much, but, the one guy I thought I expected at least a little bit more, Alexis Vega. I expected a little bit more. He in his cameo on Saturday, he did well. So I expected a little bit more from him today. He's kind of it seemed like the attack was going towards the Orbelin side. Maybe that's because he was just feeling it, so they kept feeding him, but
Yeah.
I expected a little bit more from Vega tonight, and I didn't expect anything, good or bad, from Sepulveda. He kinda did his job.
Yeah, he did good too.
He led the line, he made his runs, he dropped down, passed it off to Quiñones. He I don't think he would have gotten an assist technically, but he could have gotten a pseudo assist for letting that ball go between his legs right to Chino Huerta, who
Yeah,
then hit
that's
the
true.
post.
Yeah. I'm so surprised you missed that, bro, but
Yeah, that was when he went from, all gas to all brakes after that when he kinda struggled,
yeah.
but like I said, they should have had another goal right there. That was the crazy thing about that play was that was off of what, like 20, 30 passes, I feel like?
Yeah, it was like a good build-up play
Yeah.
and then just dies
It was
right
like
when it
from the
misses.
70th minute to like the 75th minute. I think Mexico had the ball almost the entire time. It was kinda
Yeah.
crazy. It just kept building slowly. You heard the Ole chants and everything.
Yeah, I heard.
I was like it was nice to hear that in our favor for a change because
Yeah.
the other way, these fans are ruthless in the US.
Yeah, they will turn on you for, like, the smallest things.
Yeah, so that's really pretty much all I have in terms of quote unquote bad players, but like you said, it was a nice turn from Saturday because Saturday it was like 5, 6 guys. I was like, "What are you doing? You're not struggling out there. It's just not good." But it was nice to go from 5, 6 guys who would be in contention for these bottom 2 spots to maybe 1. I guess you could say Vega maybe, but nothing where I'm just thinking like, "What is he doing?" No, it's just like, just the game didn't come to him, and that happens, especially if you're a winger out there. You gotta get the ball, and he didn't get the ball out there. It happens.
Yeah.
Anyone stand out to you in terms of players that kind of earned another look in this Gold Cup, whether it was like a fringe player that Vasco tried and you think, "Oh, he should get another look," or maybe the other way, maybe someone who struggled in these 2 friendlies where you're like, "You know what? He should probably see the bench." Like, once it comes to games that actually mean something.
Honestly, I think just part of me would like to see Gallardo get some time on the bench, especially in that game against Switzerland. I thought Mateo Chavez was pretty solid.
Yeah, he balled out.
Yeah, and I'm just really hoping that 'cause don't get me wrong, Gallardo, like, he didn't do bad this game either, but I just feel like we should give Mateo Chavez another opportunity, and I think their next game against the Dominican Republic would be a good game to do that.
It's nice to have options though, because
Mhm.
even though we're not playing the top-notch competition, these are the type of games where you need to avoid getting a yellow
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you get a yellow against Suriname, you get a yellow against Dominican Republic. Guess what? You're missing out against Costa Rica, or vice versa. You get one against Costa Rica. Next thing you know, you're missing. 'Cause I think they don't reset until the after the quarterfinals. So yeah, that might be the best. That quarterfinal semifinal game might actually be the actual.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I know some Chivas fans might not like it, but Rangel,
Chivas fan here?
he's the third keeper. I think on the squad. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say he's terrible. Keepers are different. You know, they kind of age differently in terms of skill. So he's got a lot of time.
Yeah, he does.
But I think if I were to pick out of these 3 keepers, he's number 3, and I don't know if you agree or disagree, but that's not to say that my Laguna is so much higher that I can't see Ronqued 6 months from now playing into a contention for a number 1 spot, but right now, this summer, this tournament, I think you go with Malagon or maybe
Yeah,
Ochoa.
I agree with you 100%. Definitely, a third option. No disrespect to Rangel. You know, Malagon, top form right now, easily has to be your starter. Then you have Ochoa. I mean, it's Ochoa, bro. He has the experience. He's a veteran. So I 100% agree.
I'm a little surprised Ochoa didn't get any time in these either of these games.
Yeah. This is weird, but
I
I'm
mean,
kind of glad.
do you think he gets a game, in one of the first 2 games?
Maybe. Honestly, I don't. I think I'm expecting him to start against Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
he'd
could see
start.
that, and then kinda from, hey, Vasco can say, "Hey, I gave each goalie 1 game,
Mhm.
and now this guy's my guy for the tournament."
Yeah.
You can't say, like, he didn't give you a look, you know?
Mhm.
Gold Cup, what are your expectations now for this team? And not to get too much into it, but after seeing the US kind of get demolished the last 2 games, I mean, it's kind of if it's is this one of those tournaments where we need to lose in the final only?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, if we don't make it to the final, I'm not gonna say Vasco out, but you know how the Mexican media is.
Yeah.
Hell, if we beat Dominican Republic 2-0, the media might be saying that Vasco out
Let's
because
go
we should
out.
have won 6-0. I mean, I've been to those Gold Cup games in, Soldier Field where we beat Cuba 6-0.
Damn.
I call that the Uriel Antuna game because I think he scored like a hat trick that
He
game,
did, bro. That was, like, his peak right there, bro.
and that was the year he got added on. He was the last person to get added to the team because someone got hurt, and then he started the first game, he had, like, 2 goals,
Just fucking insane.
and then he lived off that for the next god knows how many years.
Yeah.
But is that what you're thinking? Gold Cup, we need to win?
Yeah, we need to win it. Like I said, we're going into the Gold Cup on a high, beating a European team. You know, we need to win because World Cup is literally next year, so we have to win. I think there's absolutely need to win it.
What are your lineups? What's your 11?
True.
When a must-win game. Let me just be honest. These first 2 games are kind of like we can still kinda get some depth players, some minutes, but
Yeah.
if we're playing if we're playing, Canada tomorrow, who you starting?
Honestly, I'd take the starting 11 from that Panama final, and except I think instead of having, was it did Chino start that game? Or was it I think I'd have Quiñones start that game, starting in a final. I think he's kinda proved himself to be a starter.
Trying to look up who started that game.
Yeah, same, I should probably look it up too.
This makes for great radio. You talking about the 2023 final?
The
The
Nations League.
Nations League.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. Oh,
my
crap,
bad.
not that far
I
back.
was like, "Damn, like, that's pretty specific." I was like, "I think we got, it's new players in the last 2 years," but now you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah." So that lineup, we had Malagon, keeper Gallardo, Vasquez, Montes, Reyes, the back 4. In the middle or then we had left to right, we had Chino, Romo, Edson, Alvarado, and then up top, we had, the Jimenez boys.
Yeah, I think that was a very, solid lineup, except I would've
Who you
probably
starting for Roma?
for what?
For Roma.
For Roma?
Yeah. Marcel?
Yeah, Marcel, yeah. Yeah, I think anybody but Charlie Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
anyone that's a ABC, anyone but Charlie.
Mhm.
Do you have any thoughts on splitting up Jimenez's? I
Like,
kinda wanna see
having
Quinones.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I wouldn't be mad seeing, Quiñones as the only one up there, and just gives us more options when we need to make changes, I wouldn't be mad.
I kinda wanna see Quinones play with one of these guys up front.
Yeah.
I think that'd be good to see, kinda see how they play together. And like I said, it's you're gonna play like 6, 7 games in this tournament. You're gonna need depth, so you're gonna need to cycle through guys in and out.
Mhm.
I don't want Jimenez I don't want Raul and Santi playing 180 minutes against Suriname and Dominican Republic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that. But yeah, Chino, the 2 wingers, Chino, Huerta, Alvarado, I could see that. Chino kinda similar to one of the forwards. You could kinda keep him as a like a sub,
Yeah.
but, like, he's improved so much as I think he's been at Anderlecht in terms of just his work rate, defensive work rate. He was at starting counterattacks tonight, and I granted he came in like the 70th minute, so he was full of energy, but it's nice to see that. Just
Yeah.
to see something from one of our wingers, some defensive action. So yeah, I agree. Like that Panama final lineup, pretty much what I would do.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
you're
even,
saying
I would've liked to see, like, Westcott play as well, but, the whole incident.
yeah. I mean, a couple players who did not see any action in these 2 games that I would or maybe not that didn't see any action, but I mean, like, I know Efrain played a couple minutes some minutes against, Switzerland, but I kinda like to see what he can do. Araujo, no minutes.
Yeah.
Gilberto Mora, I want him to play get him at least 20, 30, at least 25 minutes this on Saturday. I mean,
Yeah.
assuming we're up if we're up 3-0 in the first half,
Just bring him in.
take out one of the forwards, I don't need Raul to play 90 minutes against the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
This isn't like this isn't like a NBA where we got Tibbs and we're gonna play our starters all 90 minutes, like, no.
Yeah.
We need some, I know no one wants to hear it, we need some rotaciones.
Yeah. I agree.
Shout out to Juan Carlos Osorio. But yeah, Mateo Chavez, I'd love to see it get him some more playing time. Just I'm kind of pumped. I'm back in. I'm back in. I was
Yeah.
now I'm like, you know what? I think we should win. I'm not one of those guys that if we don't win, bad things happen. If you tell me we lost, but Mateo Chavez solidified himself, if Marcelo Ruiz solidified himself in the starting lineup, if Mora solidified himself as a bench option, I would rather those things happen than, "Hey, we won because Charlie got hot and had 2 goals," or,
Yeah.
Sepulveda scored 3 goals, or, like, those guys aren't people I would feel comfortable counting on next summer.
Exactly, yeah, they're already, aging, and
Yeah.
we gotta start experimenting with newer players, give younger players an opportunity.
So while I think we should win, at this point, it's like we need to win, but, like, I'm okay if we lose, but, hey, if Vasco could say, "Hey, I lost, but I found 3 or more players I know I can rely on for next summer," because ultimately, this is a Moledo tournament, dude. It happens every summer. It doesn't need to.
Yeah.
I'm okay with not winning it. We need to make it to the final unless something crazy happens. It's a Gold Cup. Shit happens. But I'm more interested in, like, who are we finding to sit next to Edson? Who are we finding as our fullbacks? Like, I'm more interested who's gonna be our 3rd center back because sometimes we like to go 3 in the back, or sometimes,
Yeah,
you need center back depth. Is it gonna be Israel Reyes? I'm okay with that,
I'm okay with
like,
that too.
you know what I mean? But we need those are the type of things we need to find out in the next 3 weeks because
Yeah,
that's more important than we won a Gold Cup. Like, who gives a shit if we won a Gold Cup?
yeah, this
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about winning the Gold Cup. I care more about developing some players, some cohesion going forward.
yeah,
But yeah, I have hope now. So that's
yeah, that's good.
as a Mexico fan, as a Cubs fan, you gotta cling on to that hope.
As long as there's hope, there's delusion,
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Delusion, that's
Yeah, that's a big factor.
well, anything else you wanna talk about before we sign off?
Um, I think we got pretty much everything about today's game. I think so.
Just one last word here on USA versus Switzerland.
Crap.
What?
Can I swear on here?
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
absolute shit show, bro. Absolute shit show.
Dude,
Clown clown fest right there, bro.
and then the girls are fighting, you got Landon fighting with
Yes, with
Lapus's
Pulisic,
dad.
dad, bro. And then Pulisic liking a post, did you see that?
Yeah, he liked this dance post. I'm just like, I woke up to this. Like, ugh, but yeah. For once, we're not the most we don't have the most drama around the program.
Yeah, thankfully. Yeah.
Well, where can we find you on social media, Diego? Where you at?
You can find me at, Dinoboy117 on TikTok and Instagram, and YouTube as well, but, TikTok is where it's, like, my main platform.
Well, that's it from us tonight. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys leave a review, subscribe to the pod wherever you're listening from. Until next time, take care, guys.
Peace.